Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of class 8th English 2nd. In today's video, we'll be completing the question answers of chapter number 8. That is the reference to context and read, reflect and write. Starting with the reference to context, question number 2. If it gets the prize repeated Reynolds with asperity, you will have to tell the old man about it. So this is the extract that has been taken from the book. Question number A is, which prize is being referred to here? The prize that is being referred to here is the 6th form prize for poetry. Question number B, who chose the subject for the competition? What was the subject this year? It is believed that the headmaster, Reverend Arthur James Percival, chose the subject for the competition. The subject this year was the college. Question number C is, how did the students react to the announcement of the competition? Not all the students reacted with enthusiasm to the announcement of the competition except for Reynolds. The others, such as Smith, Evans, Morrison, and Montgomery, were thoroughly disinterested and were only looking for a means to get into of having to write a poem when they were not really poets. Question number 3 is, this is very extraordinary communication, exceedingly so. Yes, very. Who is it from? Question number A, between whom did the conversation take place? Who is speaking these lines and whom is the speaker addressing? So this conversation takes place between Mr. and Mrs. Percival when he was at breakfast table. Mr. Percival addresses these lines to Mrs. Percival after drawing her attention at the table. Question number B, who was extraordinarily communication from? So the extraordinarily communication was from Mr. Wells, a great college friend of Mr. Percival, to whom he had sent the poetry submission for the 6th form prize. Question number C, why did the speaker say the communication was extraordinary? So the speaker said that the communication was extraordinary because it speaks of the 3 poems that begins with the same 4 lines, submitted by 3 different people, calling the act daring and at the same time fascinating and amusing. Question number 4, and did you, Smith, also find the poem on a piece of paper in the field? There was a metallic ring of sarcasm in his voice. Question number 1, who was the author of the poem? How had it reached the field? So the author of the poem was Reynolds. A draught of wind had blown the papers on which he was writing the poem in the infirmary, which is how it had reached the field. Question number B, why was there a metallic ring of sarcasm in speaker's voice? There was a metallic ring of sarcasm in headmaster's voice because all the 3 poems were identical and he thought that the 3 students who had submitted them were lying. He also thought they had invented an excuse about having found it on the field. Next is, what reply did the speaker receive from Smith? So Smith told the headmaster that he had made Reynolds write the poem for him. Now coming on to read, reflect and write. Question number 5, how did Smith expect the headmaster to respond to their deception? So Smith expected the headmaster to admonish them for having cheated in the poetry competition and punish them for the same because he was a strict headmaster. As mentioned, Smith waited for the storm to burst. Question number 6, how did the headmaster respond to the deception? Why did he respond in the way he did? So although the students thought that the headmaster would scold them and punish them, he did no such thing. He did use his specific methods to get the truth out of them, but remembered the letter his friend had written. His innate sense of humor also made him see the situation for what it was and realized how cruel it was to ask a prosaic man to write poetry. So he let the 3 boys go without saying anything. Question number 7. We are told that at the next board meeting, Mr. Percival gave a very convincing speech. What do you think he asked? So here Mr. Percival may have given a brief account of what happened during the 6th form prize competition and then talked about how cruel it was to make an ordinary person write poetry when he or she had no interest in it. He may have spoken about how each person has his or her own preferences and should not be forced to do what he or she may not like. He also may have justified his decision to make the sixth form prize non-compulsory so that students who were not keen on competing need not compete. Question number 8. Trace the events of the plot that led the three pupils of the to the headmaster's office. So Reynolds was in the infirmary when Smith came to visit him. He told Reynolds about the cricket match that they won and also about the poetry competition. Reynolds was immediately interested and told Smith that he would write the poem and he could submit it. But if poem was selected as the winner, he would have to tell the headmaster that Reynolds had written it. Smith agreed, after which he left. While he was writing the poem sitting near the window, a draught of wind blows out the papers into the garden. Reynolds makes no efforts to collect them. Later, Montgomery first finds one of the sheet on the paper, having unsuccessfully tried to write a poem. He was thrilled with this finding and decided to use it. Then Evans found another sheet of paper around the infirmary with the same poem, which he promptly gave to Morrison, who had sought his help with the poem submission. So all the three submitted identical poems, which were then sent to Mr. Wells. He wrote back to the headmaster, saying that this was a unique circumstance because all the poem began with the same 4 lines. This is what the headmaster summoned the three students. You can also write this in your own language also. It is not necessary that you have to write the same lines that are given in the video or in your live class. So you can, it was basically the summary that they had asked, because they asked to trace the events, and this is most probably what had happened. So you can write it in your own way. It is basically the summary of the chapter, and you can write it in your own words also. All the answers you can write in your own words. So with this, the chapter number 7 is over. In my next video, we'll be starting the new poem, which is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Till then, take care, keep studying, and please complete your work in your notebooks. Thank you.